a journey, and we're only at the starting block.
Yeah, I know. At Evergreen Medical, we are going to primarily be a private GP clinic. So general practice, as most people know it, is there to provide day-to-day medical care for patients, not just providing day-to-day care when people need it, but also providing a service that's going to help people stay well and prevent illness. And that goes right the way from diet, exercise, medical interventions, and also screening to make sure that if you have an illness that it's identified and treated quickly. As well as that side of the business, we're also looking to have a team working with us who can help us with this. So dietitians, physios, mental health providers. And then there's also the aesthetic side of the business, which has been established already, that Rachel's been running for the last 2 years under the Natural Aesthetics Edinburgh brand, which will be part of Evergreen. And that it's a small part of the business, but an important part. And it's about people looking as well as they feel.
I absolutely loved ER. I just wanted to be an American hospital saving lives.
Yeah.
So life's not quite turned out the way I expected to. However, the huge drive for me was, I guess, a curiosity with humans, understanding them and their lives and what makes them tick and what they enjoy doing. And health is so integral to all of those things.
You know, when I was at school, I did like learning about how things worked and science, and I do think that in medicine you add layer on things. You start with chemistry, how a cell functions, and then you build that up to body tissues and how they function. That then impacts on how physically fit someone is and the negatives of if they have a disease in that body system, and then how that affects the person, and then the knock-on effect in their family.
Certainly over the recent years, I've come back to art as being a big part of my life, and being creative a big part of my way to keep well, to keep grounded, to keep sane in busyness of life. And I saw an opportunity a couple of years ago to marry two big skills that I have, both in terms of being creative and artistic and medicine, and that was through the aesthetic business that I now have, so Natural Aesthetics Edinburgh. It's a real marrying of those two passions and skill, and I don't think you can really have a successful aesthetic business without those two things coming hand in hand. And so allowing those two passions to really merge has been a huge personal success of mine.
When the kids were little, we didn't have much time for doing anything for ourselves, but now the kids are getting older and they've got activities they enjoy doing. It's actually reawakening some of my interest in the things I used to enjoy. So my son is really into his sport and his rugby, and through him I've now going to lots of rugby games, taking him to the football, kicking the ball about in the garden, and that's been really nice to, a bit like Rachel and her art, revisit something that was an important part of my life that I'd sort of moved away from. So I think we're probably similar to lots of parents of our age whose children are just getting a little bit older now and getting a bit more independent, and your focus can come back a bit more to your own health and looking after yourself a bit more and revisiting some of the things you used to enjoy doing when you were younger. So for me, getting back into rugby, following rugby, playing a bit of rugby has been a big thing. Mm-hmm. And I think for lots of people it is, you do, when you get to a certain age, realise that you need to look after yourself and you need to prioritise your own health. And quite often when you've got kids and a busy job, that is very difficult to do, but incredibly important.
What's going to set Evergreen Medical apart is, well, there's many different things. But if we're talking about the specifics of the service that we provide, most GP practices traditionally will be somewhere where you go when you feel poorly. And that's, of course, a big part of healthcare and will absolutely be a focus of Evergreen. But another focus of ours is in promoting health, ensure people are well and that illness is prevented for as long as possible through increased reviews, education, and initial interventions with the doctor, which can be as simple as changing lifestyle or diet, for example, you can really prevent these long-term conditions. And also providing support that isn't easily accessible currently. Many adults will relate to the fact that life is complicated. If you have family, a job that's demanding, perhaps parents who need your support, where do you go if you just need some wellness support? Evergreen want to be able to provide that for you with clinical psychology care. We want to be able to support you through your many menopause symptoms with our women's health clinic. You can come in and talk to us about having a prostate check. I think there's a whole aspect of health that isn't addressed with the current resources that we have in this country, and we want to be able to offer those to our patients.
It's looking like we imagined it would look, just about.
Yes, and everyone who's come in so far has been wowed by it, and I can't wait to show our patients and for them to feel at home and comfortable and cared for, and for them to feel that they are the priority, which is absolutely what we want them to feel, because it's true.
Obviously, it's a completely brand new clinic that's just opening its doors, so we'll take a little bit of time to get up to speed with the volume of patients we're hoping to see, but I think right from the get-go it'll be exciting.
Yeah, slow and steady, that's what we want to do. So the website and Instagram have all the contact details you need, phone number, website, email address. We're going to be available through all of those means, and the door's open here as well.
Details of most of the services we're providing now and will be providing as we go forward, but if anyone's not sure, if they're looking for something in particular, then they can just contact us and we'll try to help.
Yeah. And if we can't provide a service, we'll look into it.